This is ANN News Brief.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for a sharing of responsibilities for the world's refugees. Guterres made the call in a statement at the Global Refugee Forum in Geneva earlier in the week. World leaders at the forum took on the issues of global refugee crisis and assessed the progress made in the Global Refugee Compact adopted by the United Nations General Assembly 1 year ago. They also pledged more than $3 billion to support refugees and 50,000 resettlement communities. UN High Commissioner for Refugees Filippo Grandi said the Global Forum on Refugees has carved up the responsibility for handling the 26 million refugees who have fled war and persecution and are exiled in poor neighboring countries. Grandi said Germany has also pledged about $2 billion and Inter-American Bank is giving $1 billion to communities hosting refugees in Latin America. The World Bank has increased its refugee project funding by 10% to more than $2 billion.
Fundamentally, we need to re-establish the integrity of the international refugee protection regime with the 1951 Refugee Convention and the 1967 Protocol at its core. When so many borders and doors are being closed to refugees, when even child refugees can be divided from their families, we need to reaffirm the human rights of refugees.
South Africa's former president, Thabo Mbeki, has pledged support to Zimbabwe to help in resolving its challenges. Mbeki made the offer after meeting separately in Harare with Zimbabwe President Mnangagwa and opposition MDC alliance leader Nelson Chamisa during his two-day visit to the country. On that offer, Chamisa said such a brokered dialogue by Mbeki between him and Mnangagwa could bring meaningful change. Mnangagwa and Chamisa are involved in the Political Actors Dialogue, POLAD, along with the National Patriotic Front and the Zimbabwe Council of Churches. Mbeki told journalists before leaving Harare he would return in 2 weeks to continue his engagement with stakeholders who would like to meet with him. The Zimbabwe government has already begun the political and reform process that has seen some pieces of legislation being passed in parliament to address political and economic concerns raised by political parties, civil society, and ordinary citizens. We'll be right back.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
A terrorist organization with possible links to ISIS has been terrorizing Cabo Delgado, the northernmost province in Zimbabwe. There is no end in sight to the trail of destruction it is leaving behind. If left unchecked, it could have an impact on South Africa. Small sleepy villages that are made up of small hamlets populated by subsistence farmers blanket Cabo Delgado, but the villages are mostly deserted. More than 600 persons have been reportedly killed this year there. This month alone, there have been 17 attacks from the unknown terrorist group. Its most recent attack occurred on Tuesday. The violence has been happening for 2 years. There are reports the Islamic State has claimed responsibility for 26 of those attacks. Although it has left behind a path of mangled bodies of men, women, and children, some beheaded, disfigured, and dismembered, the group's funding, its origins, mandate, and even its name are not known. That is ANN News Brief at 10. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Lucy Adeyemi.